Hello everyone, and once again welcome you all to my channel. And in the previous video I have mentioned about the Pushyavarman, or the first king, to formed the Varmana line of dynasty. So I don't want to waste time, just I want to come to the point here. Let me give a few facts or the revision about the Pushyavarman. So in the previous video what we have read is that he assumed the title Maharaja Dhiraja. Maharaja Dhiraja, that means the king of kings, and the second was the contemporary ruler, contemporary ruler with Samudragupta. Samudragupta. So I have already told why we believe, or in the text we find that he is being compared or as a having a good relations with the king of the Gupta dynasty, that is Samudragupta, because we find that he kept his son's name Samudravarman. That means like half of the name, that is Samudravarman. Don't you find any link with that? And he kept his daughter-in-law's name as the Danta Devi. For that we can say that he had a good relationship with the Gupta king, that is the Samudragupta. So we have already talked about this in the previous video, and I'll give the link of the previous video. Then second we have to read about this Samudravarman. So as we all know, he is the son of Pushyavarman. Then yes, we have to remember this one, like he reigned the period 380 to 405. You have to remember this, from 380 to 405 AD he ruled the Varmana line of dynasty. That's why I have separately given these three names, because they belong to 4th century AD. Then after this I will come with the rulers belonging to the 5th century AD. That's how we need to read. We need to go in depth with the facts and the details. Then only we can attempt the questions that arise in the prelims, and in the mains it becomes a plus point to aid the facts and the incidences or the rulers or the period. That makes your paper more appreciable by the examiner. So Samudravarman, he was the son of Pushyavarman, and it's a common thing about them, Samudravarman and Pushyavarman, and also with the Balavarman, you will see in the letter that they assumed the title of Maharaja Dhiraja. I would say Dhiraj. That means like the independent political ruler or having the independent status. Then you have to remember this important grant, that is the Nidhanpur grant. In Nidhanpur grant, yes, Samudravarman is being mentioned as the 5th Samudra. So easy to remember this. Samudra means the ocean. That means like the ocean. So remember this too. Then these are the common things, like they were the powerful rulers, having a good ideologies, or they had different cultural perspectives, and they tried to bring the Aryanized culture in their rule. Nothing to read again from here. You just need to remember the facts, and texts are available. You can read that, but it is my duty to give the explanation, or I have the summary of the topic, so that you can better understand when you read the text. Then lastly we'll read about the Balavarman 1. Obviously you have to remember this period 405 to 420 AD. So here what we can read about Balavarman is that son of Samudravarman. I would write the short form Samudravarman. Then same, I told you, these three kings, they assumed the imperial title of Maharaja Dhiraj. I won't write again this one. Then, yes, one important fact to remember is that he is believed to have a daughter. Let me this second. Okay, he's believed to have a daughter named Amrita Prabha. Very important. We can find this question most of the time in PNRD and other state examination MCQs type. Okay, say Amrita Prabha. Amrita Prabha, and it is being seen in the text that she married the king of Kashmir. The king of Kashmir. Yeah, I think, yes, his name is Meghabhana. Meghabhana. Okay, so see, in short, I'll say once again, then I won't repeat this lecture again. See, first, we find the Varman kings or the Varman dynasty lineages. The 4th century AD, what we find is that Pushya Varman laid the foundation of the Varman dynasty. Remember this period, 350 century onwards. Then he assumed the title Maharaja Dhiraja and close contact with Samudragupta. Then his son Samudra Varman from 380 to 405 AD. Same, he assumed the title of Maharaja Dhiraj, and yes, and in the Nidampu Grant, okay, he has been mentioned as the 5th Samudra, that means the first Samudra line. Okay, then in Valavarman I, again, what we find 405 to 420 AD, he had a daughter named Amrita Prabha and married off his daughter, the king of Kashmir and Meghabhana. So that's why when we read the text, we find that Bala Varman is believed to have some relationship with the state Kashmir, and there are some incidences which is not important for you all. You just need to remember all this. Then we will read about the kings that belong to 5th century AD. So now we will read about 5th century AD rulers. The first, what we find is Kalyana Varman. Okay, who is the son of Bala Varman. These are only the facts. You don't need to summarize. Just know the facts and try to bring this when you write the answer in the men's paper. Then yes, Kalya Varman. Okay, is the son of Bala Varman. Then nothing much is being written here, but just remember that he is believed to have ruled for 20 years. About 20 years. Okay. Then Kalyana Varman was succeeded by his son Ganapati Varman. So not much is being written about them. That means like you will find this name most of the time in the question paper too also, but you just need to remember that the son of the Kalyana Varman was the Ganapati Varman. Now here, I think for me, in the 5th century AD, the most important king to be remembered is Mahendra Varman. Okay, let me say about him. Mahendra Varman is believed, but it's a true that he is the son of Ganapati Varman. Okay, and yes, remember this period, this is important, 470 to 494 AD. Okay, then Mahendra Varman is believed to be the first Varman ruler to perform the Ashwamedha Yajna. So when we say about this, what do you understand? This yajna is nothing but it's a horse sacrifice to show that the king has the power, okay, that no one can defeat him. That means like whenever a king wanted to show his power, okay, he would send his horse round the corner of the kingdom or in the other places, okay, in the other king's kingdoms. Then when this horse, it returns back, then it defines that that particular owner of the horse is the most powerful king in that area, okay. And for that, it signifies that Mahendravarman is believed to be one of the first Varman ruler to perform this yajna. That means like horse sacrifices. Ashwamedha yajna. Then again, yeah, one of the first ruler to successfully wage war against whom? Against Gupta army. These are important. Nothing more to read about this. Then coming to Narayana Varman, not much is being written about him. Just remember that Narayana Varman is the son of Mahendravarman, okay, one who performed the first Ashwamedha Yajna among the Varman rulers. Mahendravarman. Then just one thing to remember about his name, he is endowed with the quality of military power. He was good in fighting, right? In the military power and the tactics. So here come the end of this lecture. I have explained about the 4th century AD rulers, okay, and the 5th century AD rulers I have explained just now. Then only these are important. You don't need to go too much to the book or else you will waste your time. And here I have already explained what are the important facts you need to remember, and I will conclude this lecture here, and in the next video I will talk about the 6th century AD and the further coming the kings, okay. For the centuries AD king, then I would like to end the lecture here, and I hope I'm trying my best to give you all a good content, and I hope you all have really appreciated my work, and I hope you all will subscribe to my channel, since yes, I get the likes or I get the views, but I don't get a subscription. So when you subscribe, then it motivates me that yes, at least people are enjoying my content, and that will motivate me to do better. And yes, let me finish, or let me just shorten my lecture here, and thank you so much for listening to me. Have a good day.